Showtime.
Drive, gets inside, leans in, knocked away and stolen by Holiday. Dollar up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. To Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! This the dagger.
Here's the problem I'm seeing. Zion's gonna want out soon. Here's the thing, I don't think the front office of that organization, of our New Orleans organization, knows what the heck they're doing.
What can I say? Mamba out.
The Damian Lillard trade is completed. This is beyond spectacular. If you're a part of any of these three teams, if you're a fan of any of these three teams, or all three of these teams, congratulations. This blockbuster trade now shakes up the entire NBA, and your team most likely gets better. The trade happened 3 days ago. I'm happy to finally be able to make a video on this. If you guys have not checked out CourtSideHeat.com yet, definitely check it out, because I uploaded the Damian Lillard trade grades, and I explained why every, and I mean from the Bucks to the Suns to the Blazers, on why every team won. So in today's podcast episode, we're going to go over that trade. We're going to go over why this trade was done. We're going to go through all the headlines that have been coming out of this. I just want to break this down. I really want to, I don't know. I want to try just to wrap this all up in a pretty little bow, so this way we have a better idea of everything that took place and why the Heat, well, mainly why the Heat didn't win. Why the Heat just did not win those sweepstakes. And how this came down to Pat Riley and Joe Cronin. Cronin? Something like that. Whatever that dude's name is. But this was a very emotional past few days, especially for a lot of fans. There was some confusion, but there's been a lot of mixed emotions. But I want to get to the full trade details, but I want to give you guys my thoughts, not only as a Phoenix Suns fan, but as a journalist of the Phoenix Suns. I want to be able to tell you guys my thoughts on that, my thoughts on the Bucks, and of course, the Trailblazers. If you guys have not been seeing me recently on podcast end, there's a reason. I am coming out of a brand new schedule. I've came back from vacation not too long ago. I've just been trying to ramp it up, trying to get rested and get ramped up and get fired up for the upcoming National Basketball Association League season. I don't know why I had to spell it out. I have no idea why I had to say it. My brain's been fried all day. It's fine. But I'm getting ready for the next season. And so there's going to be a new schedule coming out. There's going to be a lot of new things happening to this podcast. A lot of game changers and a lot of new things that I really do want to drill down. So I know it's been a while for the podcast, but I want to get this out. This will probably be the last time you see it on a Saturday, Sunday type stuff. But we're here now. I'm here now. And I just want to get this out. This ain't going to be too long, but I want to make sure there's some quality stuff for you guys and that we're able to drill down. I thought it was going to be going to the Miami Heat. I really thought the Miami Heat were winning this. All summer, were they the favorites to land Damian Lillard? We saw Tyler Hero was gone. We saw Damian Lillard was going to be going to the Heat. We saw all these moving parts was going to connect Miami to Portland. And Portland was going to trade their now ex-franchise player to team with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. It's funny, reports been coming out, and one of the first reports were the fact that Joe Cronin thought it would have been a brilliant idea to ask Pat Riley to give up either Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler for Damian Lillard, which Pat Riley said no. And while everyone is making fun of Pat Riley, I do think he made the right decision in not imploding his team from the inside out. I don't think he made a bad choice. I don't think he made a bad choice. Because remember, per Shams Charania, a day after the trade, he said the Miami Heat were willing to offer Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, 3 first-rounders, first-round pick swaps, and multiple second-rounders for Damian Lillard. The Blazers had no interest in the Heat's package. The bigger play was another report came out explicitly stating that Damian Lillard was never going to be traded to the Miami Heat. That Joe Cronin, the front office, the owners, they were not going to let him go to his preferred destination. They were going to send him a message that, okay, fine, you want out? You want to do this to us? You're not going. You're not going to Miami Heat. We're going to do this for us, and we're going to take you to whatever team we decide to take you to. Which is so wrong to do to a guy that's been loyal to for 11 seasons, could have gone to 12. I personally hate Joe Cronin. I've never been a fan of that GM. I've never been a fan of him. And I apologize if I'm getting his last name wrong, but he's Cronin now. Joe Cronin, to me, is what no GM should aspire to be. I thought Daryl Morey was bad. Oh, heck no. We got Joe Cronin. And it's not like he's doing anything significant. He pulled off a good trade. I'm going to give him his props. But the way he did Damian Lillard was dirty. It was kind of, I don't want to say corny, but it was just, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care if you're pro or anti Damian Lillard in this type of situation, but this dude, Joe Cronin, wanted Damian Lillard gone. He wanted him gone. Because in a bombshell report by Chris Haynes, it appeared that Damian Lillard, wanted to rescind his trade demand, but it was denied by the general manager. He said there was no going back and ignored Lillard on multiple occasions. Even, and this is the most shocking part to me, and the one that just should get everyone's blood boiling. Even when they met in person several times, Cronin just ignored him. He went out of his way to give a lackluster response. He didn't even really do anything. Like, he gave a non-existent reaction to seeing him since their private conversation. But Damian Lillard was ready to come back to the team when he knew a Miami Heat trade may not be taking place. Like, when the Miami Heat rolled out, he's like, here, I'll come back. And it's not like Damian Lillard pulled almost a James Harden, just going in recent memory of the past few instances with Harden and Daryl Morey. It's not like he called out Cronin or the 76ers organization as a whole, or called him liar, or called him any sort of name. He kept it very professional. He kept it real. He kept it honest. He just kept it respectful. He didn't leak anything. He expressed his feelings, but he never crippled this organization. He never turned fans on fans. He never turned the fans against the organization. He said, I respect the organization. I just don't think our goals, our views, they line up anymore. So I want out. And funny part is the Blazers. And I don't like the Blazers as a whole, as an organization. Players are phenomenal. I'm talking about the front office. I'm talking about whatever loser they have as an owner now. They've been stiff-arming Damian Lillard for the longest of time. They've been giving him baseless promises of saying, we're not rebuilding, we're going to get you a star. What do? They trade CJ McCollum. They didn't go anywhere. And then he's like, okay, trade the third overall pick. I know we get Scoot Henderson, but I want to win now. I know we're not going to win a championship now, but I just want to get back to the postseason because we're such a garbage organization that we couldn't make it the past few seasons. So I just want somebody. Which is a very valid request. And he put it a lot nicer, but if we're going to be blind, this is a fire, before this trade, this was a fire organization. Who, in another report that came out, who told Damian Lillard to sit out the final 10 games of the season so they could tank enough to get a high draft pick, which turned into the Scoot Henderson draft pick. You get a top 3 pick. So Damian Lillard complied, he's been respectful, but then Cronin wants to be a bully. He thinks that now he could be the dominant one in this situation, and he's like, no, I don't care. He decided to be a jerk. That's all he did. Quote, Cronin's response to the 7-time All-Star was that there was no coming back, Haynes reported. Lillard was shocked, sources said. He said it was discouraging to hear he couldn't return, but added that he didn't want to be somewhere he wasn't wanted, and he ended the meeting. End quote. Also, this is my favorite one from his bombshell report. If you guys have not read it yet, I highly recommend that you guys do. But on September 11th, Damian Lillard started showing up to the team facility for the preparation of training camp. He was there for 8 days, and despite him being there for an entire week, Cronin did not talk to Lillard once. According to the man himself, the GM gave him a non-existent reaction to seeing him since their conversation. So, Cronin went about it in the most smug and ignorant and egotistical way humanly possible, humanly imaginable. Like, it's just, anything you could imagine, it actually got worse. Like, before all of this stuff came out, you could have said, okay, look, this is just a business deal, both sides are happy to part ways. But to see all of this come out, all these reports coming out, because Lillard, the Blazers tried to make Lillard the bad guy. But now Cronin and all of his little stooges in the front office pretty much stabbed him back. Now, to be fair to the front office, I don't know if they really wanted Damian Lillard to go, but because you work for someone like Cronin, and he's pretty much the boss right now, and you, of course, have to listen to all the upper guys as well, you really just can't fight it. You just kind of have to just go with it. But I wonder how that makes Blazer fan. Like, I wonder how that makes Blazer fans feel. How does it make y'all feel? That you had Damian Lillard, he was ready to come back. He was going to work with Scoot Henderson, even though he said, trade the third overall pick or I'm out. And then he's like, you know what? I like Scoot. Let's get it going. He's like, you're not welcome back here. That's some messed up stuff, but every sport is a business. Remember that. Every sport is a business. Don't let anyone ever convince you otherwise. Every sport is a business, and the NBA is no different. So I wanted to get that out there so everyone had the full picture. Everyone had the full picture. We also saw a day after Lillard was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks that he gave out this heartfelt letter just addressing the fan base, addressing the team itself, and just thanking them, showing gratitude, showing appreciation, and thanks, right? One more bombshell, and then we're going to get to the actual trade itself. This because of the Milwaukee Bucks. And I wonder how Giannis Antetokounmpo feels about this. So the Milwaukee Bucks pulled the trigger without consulting their superstar player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. According to ESPN, the Bucks didn't want any drama with Giannis by trading away Jrue Holiday. And if you guys don't know the story behind why they went down that route, apparently back in 2018, 2019, I believe it was 2019, correct me if I'm wrong, the Milwaukee Bucks were going to trade Chris Middleton. They were going to trade Chris Middleton for Jimmy Butler. It would have been Jimmy Butler and Giannis Antetokounmpo. But, and this deal was pretty much sealed, like this was going to be it. But, Giannis like, no, I decline, I do not consent to this trade, we're not having this trade. It's vetoed, I'm not doing it. Because he liked his teammate, he liked his friend, and he didn't want to ship him out. Now, good news for him, that judgment call, that vetoing of the trade was a correct call. It was a correct call. Because in a sense, they won a championship a year later. So you can't get mad about that. So I can understand why the Bucks didn't want any drama with Giannis by trading away Jrue Holiday. I wouldn't have talked to me either if I were them. Because this probably was the better decision. This was the best decision to win more championships. Because if as a team you believe you can win more championships, why not do that? Why not do it? I would 100% do it. I'm sorry that Jrue Holiday got traded, but it's not like he's Chris Middleton and he's been here his entire life. He's been that one team, that one city for his entire life. No, Jrue Holiday was a part of the Pelicans, a part of New Orleans Pelicans. Right, so you have that going on. So when you have all of that being factored in, I would care to trade him away. He's invaluable. You thank him for his time. You thank him for his defense and how he handled the Suns, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker in the 2021 NBA Finals. But this is the better move that could result in more championships. 100%. 100%. And I now want to jump into this trade because it kind of segues, it kind of all pieces itself together. And of course, we're going to get to my feelings on it. And these are my opinions. This is what I believe. This is very calculated. And there's really no bias in this. Despite me being a Phoenix Suns fan, and despite me having feelings towards other players a certain way, I really can't be biased. And the problem for the Phoenix Suns is, since I like them so much and since they're my hometown team and they're my fan favorite, just speaking to y'all on a fan level, I'm more hard on them. I want to see more of them, so I'm more critical, if that means anything. I want them to succeed, so I hyper-analyze everything, just hyper-focus on the good and the bad, more so on the bad if you really do think about it. And my approach and how I talk about them, even last season. Anyways, there were four key players in this deal: Damian Lillard, Deandre Ayton, Jusuf Nurkic, and Jrue Holiday. This deal, before Damian Lillard, between the Blazers and the Suns, were already done. Per multiple reports, per multiple confirmations, Jusuf Nurkic was going to Phoenix and DeAndre Ayton was going to Portland. The Suns and the Blazers already figured out. James Jones and Joe Cronin, they already figured that out. So that was already done then. The Bucks came in, then it was an official free team trade, and that allowed players like Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, Keon Johnson, Tamani Kamara, those guys to go in on this huge deal. What are the full details? Exactly. What are the full trade details? Exactly. Let's start with the Milwaukee Bucks. This is very simplistic, very straightforward. They secured Damian Lillard. The Portland Trail Blazers received Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Toumani Camara, a 2029 first-round pick, and 2 pick swaps. Phoenix Suns received Jusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, Keon Johnson. And there is a report going around by Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports that Keon Johnson and Ish Wainwright may be waived by Phoenix. So, if that means anything to you guys, I like Ish Wainwright. He was a favorite. I know that when he got the minutes, he was qualified, but I know he didn't get many minutes. And was he really impacting games? No, but he was really fun. I liked it. I love Ish. I really do. Ish to me was a cool guy. I always have those fan favorites. Every fan of a team has those favorites. Even if they don't get a lot of minutes, you're just like, you either feel for them or you're just excited for them when they get to play and you want them to succeed really bad. Or you just like what they do off court or when they're not playing on the court, just on the bench, hyping their teammates up, stuff like that. But I really want to start with the Portland Trail Blazers, and of course I'll get to the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns, but I want to start with the Portland Trail Blazers. For as much as I just ripped into Cronin, he did do a good job facilitating this trade and getting the most out of this trade. He did. Because all they had to give up was Jusuf Nurkic, Damian Lillard, Keon Johnson, and Nazir Little. And they were able to receive free picks, 2028 to 2030. Now, while that's a few years out, while that's a couple years out, who cares? They could be tied into different trades. That draft capital, those assets are pretty powerful, and that could be used in future packages. Because we all know Jeremy Grant's going to be available near the trade deadline, which makes sense. Not because he's a bad player, just because they're going into a different direction and they want to get off his large contract. But, speaking about large contracts, you got free players. 2 really solid players. One that is going to be flipped. One that could have some potential. And then one who you see as a top 5 center in the National Basketball Association. You got free first round picks. All of them of which from Milwaukee. All you had to give up was 2 big contracts and then 2 players that could have some potential, but you're just You rather act now and just get rid of them, and you can open up the minutes, and you get some going, because while Nazir Little was giving a little something, same with Keon Johnson, it's just not what you were expecting, didn't really fit in, so you give him to the Phoenix Suns. Why not? This was a really good deal. So, the young center, the Blazers are gonna do what the Phoenix Suns try to do with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. They're going to try to have Scoot Henderson and DeAndre Ayton. Scoot's a rookie, DeAndre Ayton's only 25 years old. So, safe to say, you do have a very valuable center who's under contract for the foreseeable future. You don't have to worry about anything. You got him under contract. He's going to play well. They got DeAndre Ayton pretty much for a steal. Given what they had to give up and given what they received, what they got in return, it's almost like they got him for a steal. I honestly do believe that. Why would I say that? Because I think this was a Bradley Beal type trade. Brad Beal wanted out, so did Damian Lillard. But the Wizards were backed into a corner. The Trailblazers, not necessarily. Two very different situations. But DeAndre Ayton probably wanted out. DA's camp was probably working overtime to say, hey, we're ready to go. We're not going to make this public, but let's keep this internal. We're done. I'm sorry, but it's no longer going to work here. Thank you for everything, but we're gonna go now. We're gonna bounce. We're gonna pack our bags, and that's that. So when you view like that, they didn't have to give up much. Jusuf Nurkic, he has an injury history. He has a past to him, if you want to put it that way. Still a fine center. A more experienced DA. A better fit for Phoenix. His time at Portland was running out, but DA is a better fit for Portland. And DA is younger. Forget about the money. You have him tied long term. You can pay out Scoot Henderson, and now you have something. Jrue Holiday has been shopped by the Blazers. When the trade came out, it was already reported that the Blazers were already shopping him. And teams like the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat, yes, the Miami Heat, were all interested in Jrue Holiday. And I believe that for an all-star guard, for this vet guard, I believe they get something, a good return for the one-time champ. Because the teams that I've brought up, these teams need clarity and reassurance in their backcourt. We know that there is a lot of stuff going on, and even beyond the backcourt, for the Boston Celtics, you have the Malcolm Brogdon situation. Philly's dealing with the James Harden situation. Miami, after losing some of their guards in the offseason, now have an issue for depth in the backcourt. This is a very flippable player with high value in our current trade market. Portland can easily get 2 first-rounders and a good/rising young player. I 100% believe that. There ain't no doubt in my brain. I believe that you could get easily 2026, 2028 first rounders, or heck, even 2025, 2027 first rounders. I think you can easily get that. And if you want to go swap positions, you can. Position for position player, cool, do it. But you can easily get a solid player with 2 good picks. And if the Blazers get that, then they're, I guess if you call it a treasure trove, or whatever you want to call it, but if they go into their treasure box, they're going to have all these assets in not only players, but in draft capital with those draft picks. You already have free first rounders from 2028 to 2030. And who cares if they're pick swaps? If 2 or 3 of them are pick swaps from Milwaukee, those are still first rounders at the end of the day. Remember that. Or then if you're able to get 2 more first rounders, you're going to have a lot of draft picks. You're going to come in with 10 plus first rounders. You could have the opportunity to do that. So not only are you getting quality players, quality depth, not only are you building, but in your rebuild quest, in this mode to win in the future, you can tie this into other packages, or you can use the picks for yourself to get sneaky good players. Or if you're still really bad, really good players. Well, if you're Milwaukee, you gotta be really bad, right? So, the Blazers did a very, very good thing. The Blazers very much won this. Plus, as I brought up before, this is very obvious, but getting rid of the players that you got rid of, this will be opening up significant minutes. You'll now be able to give more minutes to Scoot Henderson, Shane Sharp, and Anthony Simons. All three players who have incredibly high ceilings within this Portland organization. I know we all want to talk about the Bucks and Lillard, but I think the Blazers have found success in this deal, and it's going to pay off in the now and the future. I think Chauncey Billups, current head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, can utilize DeAndre Ayton. Because DeAndre Ayton's top priority is scoring. And while he's not the most physical center, he can still give you 20, 10 a night. He can still get you those touches. He can still give some pretty good. He's going to give you good minutes. He's going to be a good center. He's a top 15 center who has the opportunity to become a top 10 center very, very soon in this league. I honestly do believe that. And I know it didn't work out with Phoenix. And for as much as I was writing DeAndre Ayton last season, I was very much critical of his flaws and sometimes wanted him to be traded. I admit there was a large part of me. Trust me, those tweets are still up. Not deleting them. When I saw the video of him in Portland in the team facility, he's with the Trailblazers. Joe Cronin's there. Everyone, guys are there. And Toumani Camara is there. For the first time in a long time, DeAndre Ayton seemed happy to be in a team facility. I think he's starting to feel the love again. And with that report coming out that Portland views him as a top 5, a potential top 5 or already a top 5 center in the league, that's pretty cool. And if you're DA, you can say, hey, they traded Jusuf Nurkic and Damian Lillard for me. They traded for me. I wish the best of luck, the DA. I really do hope that this season treats them well. I'm sorry it didn't work out here in Phoenix, but I hope it works out. I'm going to be watching all of those games. Trust me, I'm going to try to tune into I'm going to try to tune in as many Portland Trail Blazers games as I humanly can. Still trying to get in the Phoenix Suns, of course, but speaking of them, there's 2 preseason games. I believe one game in November. There's going to be one regular season game that I will be tuning in for. I don't care what happens. I will be there. You best believe I'm going to be there. So, no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. So I wanted to put that out there. DA had a lot of good moments. I just don't think it was a fit anymore. And with that, I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns. I really do. Also, I really thought Toumani Camara could have been son here. So keep an eye out, ear out, something for Toumani. I hope he gets some playing time, because I actually did an article on him after the draft, explaining to Phoenix Suns fans what you could expect from a guy like Toumani Camara. So if you guys ever get a chance, read that article. Trust me, you guys will appreciate that article. You guys are getting a pretty cool player. I was actually excited to see him play. Real deal. No joke. I was actually hoping he would get like 5 to 7 minutes per game. That was something I hoped for. That's something I came out 3 months ago. Because I was answered the question, should Suns fans be excited about Toumani Camara? You're getting a solid rebounder, exceptional defender, decent shooter, decent playmaker. He can shoot off the dribble and plays very well on both sides of the court. You got him in the second round. And I really do believe that Toumani Camara can be a solid player, because in 2022-23, when he was with Dayton, he averaged 14 points, 8.5 rebounds per game. Plus, when it comes to steals and blocks, he averaged almost 1 block per game and 1.2 steals. His true bread and butter lie on the defensive side. He could be viewed as a developing rotational wing player. I thought that this pick was a B+. I thought drafting this small forward was a B+. That's just my humble opinion. It's my honest opinion. I thought they had a late end of draft steal, a gem. I thought they found a gem. So am I a little bummed out that I can't get Kamar in the Suns jersey? Yeah. In the Suns uniform? Sure. But it's fine. He's with the Trailblazers now. But I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns now, and then we'll get to what y'all been waiting for, the main part of this deal. The player we all been talking about for the past few months now, Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks. And John Horst really did a good job. I ain't gonna lie with y'all. He did a very good job facilitating this trade, because he gave up little to nothing. I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, the Phoenix Suns. So, what did the Phoenix Suns receive? They received Jusuf Nurkic, Nazir Little, Keon Johnson, Grayson Allen. What did they give up? DeAndre Ayton, Toumani Camara. The Phoenix Suns actually got pretty good depth on this trade too. Like, I'm happy with this trade. And again, guys, all of this, I gave all these trades around an A. So you guys will have to see which got A+, which got A's, but whatever grade, right? But the Suns got an A. This is an A in my book. To me, it is. Because the Phoenix Suns were giving up a player they already weren't sold on. Both DA and the Suns, both sides, they weren't sold on each other, and it was probably time. And you gave up a interesting prospect, a late-rounded prospect, which is cool, right? But you didn't have to give up any picks, even though the Suns couldn't give up any picks. We don't have any good picks for the year 2030, and that is a fact. But we're playing for the here and now, so I really don't care for the picks as much. But Jusuf Nurkic, this was a fit over talent. We can all agree DeAndre Ayton is more talented than Nurkic. That goes without saying. No one can convince me that Nurkic is more talented than DeAndre Ayton. I'm a Nurkic guy. I like Nurkic. I do. I have nothing against Nurkic. Nurkic to me is a solid guy who's going to be able to give you double digits. But this was fit over talent. The Phoenix Suns knew, and so did DeAndre Ayton, that it just wasn't going to work because he couldn't live off of 3 or 4 shots. He just couldn't live off 3 or 4 shots per game. He was going to be the 4th option, 4th, 5th option. No, probably 4th. After the big 3. The huge trio, right? Now, it wasn't just going to be sustained. And Frank Vogel had a plan for DA, but it was going to be more defense-driven. He was going to get less touches. There's going to be a significant drop-off. But he was going to be there. He was going to be the paint guy. He was going to be that traditional defensive center. Because Vogel's scheme runs through a big man who's more defensive-minded and balanced, but for the most part has the ability to play defense consistently and effectively. And that was something that DeAndre kind of struggled with, and that comes in the physicality and just trying to work himself in the paint. And I'm not saying physicality in the sense of trying to stop Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, or even to kill Jokic. I'm talking about physicality of bodying a guy, trying to play contested defense, putting pressure on your opponent, on the opposition. And given the scheme Vogel was going to try to run with DA, this would have fit Ayton. As I said before, he can't survive on only 3 to 5 touches a game. In the end, it doesn't fundamentally work for either side. Now insert Nurkic. When he steps in, he's all those other aspects of basketball that aren't related to scoring a ball for a white net. The Phoenix Suns don't need a primarily shooting center. Their main focus in replacing Ayton, strengthening center, quote-unquote strengthening center, was to find a center that could be gritty-gutty and a little more experienced in that department. Almost like having a veteran who can take control of the paint when times get tough. For worst come to shove, or it's the best place to live in its paradise, you need an experienced vet like Nurkic. So, Nurkic's game really doesn't rely upon shooting. It actually relies upon passing and getting rebounds. He'll find a way to score. He'll find a way. And because this former Blazer is a way better passer than Ayton, that's going to be more crucial to know and to capitalize on, since the Suns now have free wings that are just beyond lethal. Right? So, to summarize Nurkic's new role with the Suns, and the reason why they chose Nurkic over Ayton, it's just because they needed a gritty-gutty center, and they didn't need a center being so obsessed with taking shots. It's not 2019, it's not 2020 anymore. The Suns have evolved, the Suns have gone differently. And when you look at these other pieces, I want to highlight Grayson Allen. I'm not the biggest fan of Grayson Allen. I like the player Grayson Allen, but talent-wise, Grayson Allen has talent skill. But he's just such a dirty player when he broke in the wrist of Alex Caruso. Like, Grayson Allen to me is a very acquired taste. He has his own personality. You just have to, if you're going to like Grayson Allen, you have to go all in. There's no middle. Either side of the aisle that you stand on with Grayson Allen. But I do like Grayson Allen because he knows how to ball like a starter. And he's a very consistent three-point shooter. The Suns are very much an inside-the-arc shooting team. They like their mid-range jumpers and paint points. And while that is fine, having a player like Allen will give him a boost beyond the arc to knock down consistent threes. That is, in fact, Grayson Allen's entire existence. His entire existent NBA career. And I would just say this. The Suns are replacing Landry Shamet with Grayson Allen. Allen is better and is what the Suns were hoping for in Shamet. A player they traded for when Monty Williams took control of coaching his team. Because if you remember, Monty Williams was in Philly. He liked what he saw in Landry Shamet. Boom, bada, bang. You saw what you saw in Landry. Was like, you know what? Get him. And it just never panned out, especially with that contract. It just never panned out. So you trade him away for the Wizards with CP3, future Hall of Famer, of course, for a good guy like Bradley Beal. So Allen's going to be very good. He's going to be a very, very solid three-point shooter. He's going to be able to knock down 3 to 4 threes per game. He's a guy that only needs 6 touches a game to get 10 points. He only needs 6 shot attempts. Even if he only gets 3, if he's able to get close to 10, and he's able to get to the line as well, So, there are those pros and cons to this game. I'm not getting into cons as such. But the Bucks didn't need Grayson Allen. They have a they have enough 3-pointers. 3-point shooters. They have enough pieces. But for the Suns, they need a guy like him. They need a 3-point shooter like him. They need a catch and shoot guy, or take one, or come off the dribble and shoot guy. And that's what they found in Grayson Allen. At least in my opinion. So they're replacing Landry Shamet. They're upgrading themselves in the backcourt. It makes sense to me. It does. So I do like the Suns getting Grayson Allen. I think for depth purposes, that was good. I think getting Nazir Little and Keon Johnson, that was also good. They'll be good contributors for depth purposes. If Keon Johnson stays, great. If he doesn't, great. I hate to put it that way, but the Suns will be fine either way. They already got out all of their not big names, but they got out filling out their depth with guys like Eric Gordon, Yuta Watanabe, other guys such as those pieces, Bobo, right? Especially with Callaway, Kendrick Perkins hyping him up. I'm excited. I've always been a Bobo fan. Always have been. Especially since the bubble days. I'm also a Taco Folk type of guy. He's playing in China now. Or some other league internationally. But for the time being, this completes their short-term goals of trying to win a championship right now. And being an elite championship contending team. This also completes their quest of expanding depth and making it look better for more greater outcomes in the upcoming season. So when you're factoring all of that together, the Suns scored. And I know people are like, why didn't we get more for a guy like Deandre Ayton? This just wasn't the current market. And sometimes that's alright. But you're still able to score with these guys. Sometimes you need to pick fit and depth over talent and trying to have a very top-heavy team. I don't like the Phoenix Suns being top-heavy. It hasn't worked out very well when it comes to the playoffs or with certain matchups. So I like that we're spreading out the depth. I like how James Jones is doing it. I like how Matt Ishbia is doing it. I like how we're doing it. So, from that perspective alone, I really do like this trade. I do. And I don't think anyone can convince me otherwise. That's where I'm at right now. So I think every team won this trade, but I do like how this goes for the Phoenix Suns because it was just such a good trade for fit and depth. And I think people need to wake up to that. And if you're one of them, please wake up to that because there's going to be key benefits to this. And I just don't say that lightly, especially when it comes to a team like the Phoenix Suns, who I would literally die for. Like, if I had to die the next day after them winning a championship, I would do that. That's how much of a diehard fan I am for them. Is it a little bit weird? Maybe. But who cares if it's just a little bit weird? I don't care as such. Anyways, let's get to the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, John Horst, he did good. He's not a bad GM at all, boys. Because they received Damian Lillard. What did he give up? Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, 3 first-rounders. But those picks are from 2028 to 2030. And I get the downside of, hey, you just traded away a core piece of your championship team that won a championship not too long ago. Grayson Allen was whatever, but you still gave up a depth piece. You still gave up a contributing starter. In the picks, 2028 to 2030, that could have been vital. You gave up significant picks for a huge contract aging superstar in Damian Lillard. So if you don't win a championship in the next 3 to 4 seasons, giving them that graciously long window to win a championship, then many people are going to come back on this deal and saying, did the Miami Heat make the right decision not imploding their team, not breaking up the unit? And there is a large part in that. But I want to talk about the here and now. Those are the cons. Those are the cons. But the combination of Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be something else. They'll probably be the best duo in the NBA. Right now, it's between them and the defending champs duo, Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. However, besides that, this team did not dismantle the roster at all for Lillard. The Milwaukee Bucks, they're in a contender mode. The contender mode pretty much means their only goal in life is to bring home another Larry O'Brien. I think this is going to be such a fascinating... This is going to be a game changer. They're winning a championship in the next 2 to 3 seasons. It's between them and the Phoenix Suns now. I honestly do believe that. Them, the Suns, and the Nuggets. Everyone else is a free-for-all, but you have those top 3 teams. But they didn't dismantle the roster at all for Lillard. Do you know how significant that is? I don't care about the picks. You upgraded Drew Holiday. Sure, Drew Holiday was better defensively, but I'll give up defense to get 30 points per game and a handful of assists. I'll do that. I'll do that for the talents of Damian Lillard. This is such a good, fundamental trade. I'm telling y'all, the projected starting lineup of Damian Lillard, Pat Connaughton, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. Boys, this is a championship contending team. Milwaukee definitely made improvements. They satisfied Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis said, look, I'm not going to sign my extension yet because I don't know if their priorities are the same as my priorities. I don't know if their goals are the same as my goals. I don't know if we value the same stuff we once did back in 2021. He's going to sign that extension now. Him and Damian Lillard are going to run this league. If you thought the West would get any easier, you are simply flat out wrong. I'm sorry to say it, but it's 100% true. I know, again, I get that they lost defense and the impact from Holiday, but adding in the fit and versatility of Lillard is something irreplaceable. This duo will be unmatched. They'll have several years to win a championship. To see a team not give up much, even factoring the long run effects, is something not many general managers can do and even perfect. John Horst is a legend for this. And I honestly do believe that. And by the way, John Horst is their general manager. But I really do believe what the Milwaukee Bucks have done is very significant because they didn't demolish their team. They gave up some picks, yes, but they didn't demolish up their team. They didn't mash up. They didn't go on. They didn't pull a New York Knicks type trade where they traded for Carmelo Anthony but gave up their entire roster, completely dismantled it. It was horrific. Damian Lillard will now be winning a ring. I never thought I was going to be able to see Chris Paul or Damian Lillard win a ring. Chris Paul, you're on the Golden State Warriors. You have a chance. Just don't retire anytime soon. Just give it 2 to 3 more seasons. But Damian Lillard, give it 2 to 3 more seasons, and the Bucks are going to be winning. They're going to win their first championship in franchise history. 100% believe that. 100% believe that. Without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, I 100% believe that. The Bucks are better, the Suns are better, and the Blazers are better from this trade. So much has been going on, so much, but this is all the full trade details. Again, if you guys want to see that article, of Damian Lillard trade grades, definitely go to CourtSideHeat.com. I would 100% you guys check that out. I would recommend it to the fullest. So that's where we'll be at. That's how I'm viewing this right now. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast episode. Again, things are changing for Courtside Heat. Yeah, I'm not really going to talk about it right now, but we're gonna have some fun changes, some fun changes. And I'm simply excited. October's going to be really fun. Media Day is Monday. Courts Heat on X and CourtSideHeat.com will be covering that. So do not miss it at all. And guys, with that being said, this is all I got for today's podcast episode. Peace out.